And the enemy wants to make you ashamed this week about the addiction that you brought here that you can't talk to anybody about. The one you won't write down on a prayer request. The one you've given up trying to beat because it's been beating you so long. That thing. At some point during this week, God is going to preach behind your mask. And I need you to know that God cannot bless who you pretend to be. He can't heal who you pretend to be. So now I want to give you a testimony. When I was sitting up there 2 years ago, and Joyce Meyer came out preaching about forgiveness like she does everywhere that she preaches. And I thought, cool, I've heard this before. This is a great story. It's going to help somebody. One way you can tell if you're wearing a veil is if every message you hear is something that it would be really good for somebody else to hear. That's one way you can tell. I'm sitting up there. I preached my session, and now I'm just there attending for that day, getting a lot out of it. Meanwhile, my father, who went to be with the Lord a year ago this summer, was dying of a disease called ALS. And that's a disease that slowly eats your whole body. And he lost everything before he died. He was in the middle of that, but he was also estranged from our family. You know, I had a great relationship with I actually led my dad to Christ when I was 16 years old. So that was cool. But I think something about the disease combined with the medications that he was on began to make him lose his mind. And he moved away. I tried to move him, take care of him. And he ended up moving away, and there was nothing we could do to bring him back. And we tried, but it got somewhat violent and threatening. And so he left. And when I was here at Hillsong Conference, my dad was dying in a house by himself. He would fire everybody we would send to help him and take care of him. And that's what was happening behind my veil. And when Joyce got to the end of her message here at this same conference that you're attending now, she asked for people to stand up that needed to totally forgive somebody. Now, I certainly wasn't going to do that. And I'm on the screen. My picture on the screen. Can't be standing up with everybody else at the conference. I'm the professional in here. I'm part of the team. And the Spirit of the Lord, somehow in a moment, I just remember all of a sudden, the veil came off. And all of a sudden, I wasn't Pastor Stephen Furtick, who just needed to preach to others. I was Stephen, who needed to forgive his dad. And so I stood up. Didn't know a year later I would be lying beside my dad as he took his last breath, getting to hum to him Amazing Grace, reading him a sermon from Charles Spurgeon. I haven't told this story to anybody, even my church, that it was in that seat where the veil came off. The veil. Let's just get it off right now. That hardness, that stuff, that coolness. Don't come in here cool this week. We're not coming in here cool this week. We're coming in here for an encounter with God. We want to see Him. I don't care how I look to you. I didn't come here to impress you. I came here to get an impartation of the Spirit of God, and I want to be free.